Okay, hey everyone, this is Social Dissonance, also known as Shepard, and here's going to be a dual sword tutorial for Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. Now, I'll admit to some extent I don't have a terribly large amount of experience with this, but for the most part this is a really button mashing heavy and friendly weapon. For the most part you just have a standard triangle hit combo, which kind of hits low. Likewise you have a circle hit combo that generally gets a little bit higher towards the end. And otherwise, you can press triangle and circle at the same time, which kind of does a charging attack. And kind of just depending on how many times you press the weapon towards the end of a combo, sorry, I'm kind of like wailing on my cat, you kind of just keep going into more and more extended versions of the combo. Now, the special thing about the dual swords is that by pressing the R button while you have your weapons out, you'll enter what's called demonize mode. Now, what this does is you'll see a gauge underneath the green sword icon, and all I'm doing there is that was the full triangle hit combo followed by the full circle combo. As you hit monsters in demonize mode, that gauge will fill. I guess we can call that either a spirit gauge or a demon gauge. It's kind of up to you, but that will allow you to kind of continue being sort of in demonize mode even when you run out of stamina. And just a quick note about combos in demonize mode. You saw the full triangle hit combo, this is that. Full circle hit combo, and if you press triangle and circle at the same time, you'll kind of go into what's called the Devil's Dance. And that's kind of like a standard heavy hitter combo that you can use when you just don't want to figure out whether you want to be mashing triangle or circle. Now, I'm sure there'll be a number of people out there that have a lot more experience with the dual swords than me, kind of giving more advanced tips on the weapon than that. However, for the most part, the dual swords is more about positioning yourself correctly in regards to the location of the monster, so much so as figuring out what the most ideal combo is. In general, you're just going to string together the largest combo you can, keep yourself in demonized mode as long as possible, and then when you're out of demonized mode, keeping yourself in good position to continue getting hits in so that you can regain your stamina without having to dodge all over the place. Now, this set I have here, this is Froggy with some Giganox dual swords. This is a fairly decent set. This comes with 5 points of status on it, which you can have to gem up with status jewels. But what you end up having is Perception, Constitution +1, which will help with your evasion, and Status Attack up +1, because they're now at 2 levels. So that'll help proc the poison effect on the Barroth quite a bit more. So I don't know if he's still here. It looks like he's not. It looks like he might have gone somewhere else. Fortunately, I brought some Psycho Serums, so I find out he's in Area 1, which is kind of funny because I took a shortcut trying to save a couple seconds, and now it's going to take even longer. But in general, the reason why they have this ability now of having a separate gauge in addition to demonize is to kind of prevent the abuse of what I'm going to do, which is to take a Mega Dash Juice, which will allow me to stay in demonize mode as long as I want. So the Barroth should be popping out here soon. And what we want to do is we want to fill up this gauge as quickly as possible. Now, the reason why I'm doing standard hits here as opposed to the Demon's Dance is, when he, oh, that's perfect. When he screamed, it took me out of demonize mode and kind of threw me for a loop. Oh, just a quick note, if you hold R and press triangle and circle at the same time, you'll immediately go into demonize mode. And you can kind of see now that I'm at full demon gauge here, I can dash around like a madman. Now, it's a fairly decent combo getting the Demon's Dance off a lot, but, you know, don't take it as the only combo you have. I mean, that will really limit you in terms of really having a full extended combo. Now, you can see things might change just a little bit now that I'm not in demonize mode anymore. You'll see I'm still glowing. But in general, your combo continues to get more and more fierce the larger your spirit gauge and the larger your demonize mode goes. Of course, you're going to want to go into demonize mode every once in a while just to keep that gauge going. I'm getting really lucky with like the sort of hits he's doing here. The best thing about having that short dash, though, is it really helps to reposition yourself without having the huge delay you would normally have from evading normally. At least that's what I found. So it helps keep you extremely mobile. while at the same time being able to stay on the offensive as well. Of course, the worst part about the dual swords is they are huge sharpness hogs. You can see, even though this is like a rarity 5 weapon, the green sharpness gauge is not incredibly large. It's decent. Just a quick note, also when you're in demonize mode, and especially when you're doing the Demon's Dance, I believe this gives you wind press. So if you're fighting, say, a Rathalos, you should be in fairly decent shape for when he starts flying around you. Of course, the worst part if you're fighting a Rathalos is the range is like just extremely short on this weapon. It's going to be really difficult to hit him while he's in the air, so make sure to bring plenty of flash bombs if and when this ends up being your weapon of choice. And as you can see, he's already weakened. If we hit him with a paintball, we'll see he's flashing. And just for the fun of it, I might capture him, because why not? And of course there will be full level appropriate tutorials in the future. I just didn't want to go around completely remaking all of my sets. It was hard enough making a full set for every weapon this early into the game's release. There we go. I was worried about those bugs taking me out. So you see in general there was some pretty effective use of the sidestepping, some pretty effective use of going in and out of demonize mode. Although then again, with having the Mega Dash juice on, it was almost completely inconsequential. In general, though, the dual swords are a great weapon so long as you finally have a decent green sharpness gauge on it. If it does not, make sure to get yourself a set of alloy armor and Gemin's sharpener. Because even if you only have, let's say, 6 or 7 bars of green sharpness, you'd be able to sharpen fairly quickly. And you'll notice that the weapon goes in and out of sheathing fairly quickly. I think the only thing that might be faster is a sword and shield. Oh, and by the way, something I did not mention in the sword and shield tutorial that I just remember now is you can always use a item while you have your weapon out. Hold the R button and press square, and you could use any item in your inventory. So hopefully you listen to this, and after the sword and shield, I didn't post a comment saying you forgot to mention item use, because I just did. Otherwise, what's up next? I can check. I believe it will be the Great Sword. So that should be pretty fun. Not too much has changed, but... well, there probably has been something that's changed, and I just haven't noticed yet. But of course, these things will come out as the game is out. Otherwise, stay tuned for a Great Sword tutorial.